Friends, so the much talked about India-Pakistan game in the Women's World Cup is finally over, and in spite of all the effort by the broadcasters to make it look like a humdinger of a match or a blockbuster of a game, the match turned out to be a really one-sided affair, and there was no surprise in it because India has a 11-0 win-loss ratio against Pakistan coming into the yesterday's match, and you can't call it as a rivalry or you can't call as a blockbuster game when one team has such dominance over the other. And India predictably won yesterday's match by a huge margin of 88 runs to extend the win rate to 12-0. And predictably, Pakistan was no match for India. And what makes it even less of a rivalry, the fact that India were actually below par yesterday. They played at around 75 to 80% of their potential. Their batting was actually mediocre for most part in the first half, and their fielding was atrocious. Richa Ghosh behind the wicket almost dropped 3 to 4 catches. There were some misfields also, and yet, in spite of all the chinks in the armor of Indian team, Pakistan lost by 88 runs. The reason is very simple. Pakistan player to player doesn't have a team which can match up to with India, and they were actually below par not because of their performance but because of their quality of the players they have. Their bowling is quite okay and they can actually give a good fight to any other team because of their bowling, but their batting is atrocious. They just don't have the batting skill set and the resources to make a match of anything against any strong team. The fact that they have never been able to reach 200 against India in any of the ODIs played in the past also shows what kind of pedigree they have in terms of their cricketing skills, especially batting skills, and it was clearly on display yesterday. When India started batting after Pakistan won the toss and put India into bat on that Premadasa sluggish pitch, they were struggling from the word go. Their top order came to a standstill when they lost Smriti Mandhana at the early stage, and then wickets started falling. The middle order once again fell, just like the game against Sri Lanka, and they were going nowhere till the 45th over when Richa Ghosh came in and played a really gem of an innings, a cameo, where her onslaught ensured that India at least reached 247. 247 was a slightly below par total for a strong team like India, but at least it made the total look honorable and respectable, and at least gave confidence to India that India could actually restrict Pakistan and win it comfortably, and that's what happened. Because when Pakistan came into bat, they had no answer to Kranti Gaur's swing and seam bowling. They also struggled in the middle over against Dipti Sharma. So Kranti with 3 wickets for just 20 runs, and then Dipti Sharma subsequently coming in to polish up the middle order and lower middle order, ended any hope Pakistan had of giving a fight, and that's where Pakistan lost big time, and they lost by 88 runs. So once again they were dismissed for 159, and it is come on the back of a very poor batting against Bangladesh. So that clearly shows that Pakistan is in dire straits in terms of their women's cricket, and they are not expected to go any further in this tournament beyond their league stage. So yes, Pakistan is struggling, Sri Lanka is struggling, and India has been lucky to play 2 of the weaker teams in the first 2 matches. That has helped them to couple up the points and to be comfortably sitting at the top position, which is so huge in a long tournament, and it gives a lot of confidence to a team. But the fact remains that India has had a lot of weaknesses and India has to improve on them, because from now on the real test will start. India is going to play the Sena countries, and India would be the first to admit that the kind of batting they have been showing and the kind of fielding and the catching they have exhibited, they will be in real trouble against teams like Australia, England, New Zealand, and even South Africa, who have been performing brilliantly in the last 1 year. So if India has to really win it and win it in style and give a message to the rest of the world that yes, they are correct in giving India a favorite stack to win this time the World Cup, which has been eluding them for so many years, then they have to perform much better. They have to bring their A team or A game against teams like Australia and England, and India is capable of that because India has the team for that. For some reason they have been below par in the first 2 games, because we know Smriti Mandhana came into this World Cup as world's best opening batter, and some may say the best batter, and she was just a few runs shy of 1000 runs in this calendar year, which nobody has ever done. So she has the talent and the quality to give a flying start to India and to take India to a total where India would be really formidable against any team, including the teams like Australia and England. But she has failed in the first two games. One hopes its law of averages has caught up with her and she will again start performing from the next match onwards when India will start playing against the bigger teams. Same with players like Jemima Rodriguez or Harleen Deol or Harmanpreet Kaur, the captain, who has such pedigree, such talent. She has yet to explore or she has yet to perform to her potential. So middle order and top order has been a trouble for India, and India has to quickly address that issue if they have to play well against the big teams on real true pitches. And in the field, that has been a perennial problem. Their fielding and their catching, and they have to bring out their A performance, A game, and they have to be flawless in their fielding because the big teams will not give you that leverage and they will punish you if you keep dropping catches or give misfields. So yes, there is plenty to improve for India. Pakistan would be going back to the drawing board, try to improve on their grassroots cricket and try to have resources who would be good enough to compete against the big teams, especially in the batting department. But coming to both Indian team, they have the potential, they have the team to win the World Cup or at least give a great fight to teams like Australia, and they will be favourite to definitely reach the final. But they have to play to their potential, they have to play their A game, then only they can achieve what no other Indian team before them have achieved, that is to win a World Cup which they have never won. But India has the team and India has the talent to do that, so let's hope that India will start performing much better when the challenge becomes tougher in the following or the subsequent matches. Thank you.